Trump administration is hailing the newly released Mueller report. After 2 years of investigation, the public and Congress got its first look at the redacted version today.
No collusion, no obstruction.
There never was, by the way, and there never will be.
The 400-plus page report was delivered to Congress on a CD-ROM nearly 2 hours after Attorney General William Barr laid out the findings.
The special counsel confirmed that the Russian government sponsored efforts to illegally interfere with the 2016 presidential election, but did not find that the Trump campaign or other Americans colluded in those efforts.
The report does point to 10 episodes for possible obstruction, including the president's firing of FBI Director James Comey. It says, quote, "If we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. However, we are unable to reach that judgment." We're also learning that when the president found out a special counsel had been appointed, he told then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, quote, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." Trump went on to predict, quote, "It takes years and years, and I won't be able to do anything." The report adds, at one point, the president directed then White House counsel Don McGahn to call the acting attorney general and say that Mueller must be removed because of conflicts of interest. Democrats want the full unredacted report and to hear from Mueller directly.
I think it was probably written with the intent of providing Congress a roadmap.
Attorney General Barr says he will allow congressional leaders to see a less redacted version of the report. California's political heavyweights are also weighing in on the Mueller report. KPI X5's political reporter Melissa Caen here with that part of the story for us. Melissa.
Yeah, Alan, so House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Ireland right now, so we haven't been able to speak with her. But we did hear from several other California politicians who said they are not at all ready to let the president off the hook. But we also talked to a Republican Party official who told us it's time to move on.
Well, the report tracks the way the Attorney General described it to a T.
Harmeet Dillon is the California committeewoman for the Republican National Committee, and she hopes the new report will put an end to the debate over whether the president colluded with Russians or obstructed justice.
The president is, as he put it, totally vindicated, and I think it's a great day for America. We can all move on.
But that's not likely. East Bay Congressman Eric Swalwell says this report raises numerous issues.
It's clear, and the report says this, that the president and his team lied so often that it materially harmed the investigation. And so there's going to have to be, a reckoning for that and accountability for what the president did.
And California Congressman Adam Schiff says we should expect more from our president than simply not being a criminal.
Whether these acts are criminal or not, whether the obstruction of justice was criminal or not, or whether these contacts were sufficiently illicit or not to rise the level of a criminal conspiracy, they are unquestionably dishonest, unethical, immoral, and unpatriotic and should be condemned by every American.
Senator Kamala Harris tweeted out this message: Congress needs to see the full unredacted Mueller report and all of the investigation's underlying evidence, and Special Counsel Robert Mueller must testify publicly before Congress. But Dillon says these California politicians are not focusing on real problems like homelessness and housing.
We have a great situation vis-a-vis the economy and jobs, and the question is how we're going to keep it that way and bring that prosperity to all Americans, and there should be focus on that.
Now, coming up at 6, we're going to take you back in time to when there was a Democrat in the White House being investigated by a special counsel, and what happened when the shoe was on the other foot. Alan?
Melissa, the issue of Congress taking up this question of whether the president did obstruct justice, how likely is it to happen?
Well, we can see members of Congress investigating in their various committees, but if you're asking about a full-blown impeachment, that doesn't seem likely at this moment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has repeatedly said she wouldn't pursue impeachment unless it was a bipartisan effort, and so far we haven't seen any Republicans coming out in favor of that kind of move. Also, remember back in the 90s when President Clinton was impeached but not removed, just impeached in the House by Republicans, it sparked a big backlash, and they certainly got in trouble with voters who saw it as a big waste of time. So Democrats who learned that lesson, I think, may be really careful about devoting the time and resources to an impeachment proceeding that won't actually lead to a removal. Alan?
Once bitten. All right, Melissa, thanks. And to that end, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer did issue this joint statement saying, as we continue to review the report, one thing is clear. Attorney General Barr presented a conclusion that the president did not obstruct justice, while Mueller's report appears to undercut that finding.